I'm joined right now by the roundtable, Amanda Terkel. God, you're here a lot. Senior political reporter at the Huffington Post, and Jonathan Capehart, my pal, is an opinion writer with the Washington Post, which is very distinguished sometimes, and MSNBC political analyst as well. And Colleen McCain. Are you related to John McCain?
No relation.
Okay. Is Nelson, by the way, is White House correspondent for the Wall Street Journal. Colleen, you're starting here. This has almost been torturous out there for Hillary Clinton because they're both right on the fence there. They're within the margin of error. And apparently, we just heard it through my ear, or I just heard it. No change since January 1. You got to, in other words, all these days and all this hockey and suspense, and nobody's changing their mind really in Iowa, and Hillary's slightly ahead.
Right. It is torturous if you're Hillary Clinton, and Bernie Sanders seems to be enjoying this. He certainly has had some wind in his sails. He came into this week with some momentum. He's now taking a lot of fire this week from all sides, including from the Washington Post editorial board. But the question is, Bernie Sanders is certainly relying on notoriously unreliable voting blocks on Monday. He wants first-time caucus goers to come out. He wants young voters to come out. And he has said if there's not a higher than expected turnout, he won't win. And so these aren't people who are super reliable, so that could hurt Bernie Sanders in the end.
I'm sorry, there's no fat target for Bernie if you're Hillary Clinton. She's center-left, he's left, and these aren't knocking terms, they're real. And yet to hit him, she has to hit him on these like peripheral shots. She's got to go, well, he's not good on as good as he should be on guns. But more importantly, everybody knows he's pro-Planned Parenthood. The fact that he called it establishment was not an attack. He just said, of course they're backing Hillary, they're the establishment. But she's now turning it into an attack, and he says, 100%. I can't imitate the guy. 100%, you know.
Bring it, Larry David.
Yeah, I know.
Well, look, you know, when I looked at that ad, and you're right, there aren't that so many differences between Sanders and Clinton. So you've got to. They're together. But they're running for the nomination, so you have to bring out these contrasts. And in looking at that ad, it made me wonder. This is a primary ad, and it's also a general election ad. Every time you think of Bernie Sanders on Planned Parenthood, foreign policy, gun control, you could also think about any one of the people who could be the Republican nominee.
Is this saving money? Hillary?
if it's a way to save money, it's
no, but really,
does
anybody really believe, when they're 18 years old and new to the process or not, Amanda, believe that Bernie Sanders, a man of the left, is against Planned Parenthood? Why would he be?
I mean, and when he does talk about the establishment, it's not a compliment. It's where the millionaires and the billionaires are. But it's not what he said about it being the establishment. It's that he doesn't really talk about reproductive rights a lot, and that's a contrast with Hillary. I think the big difference between them, though, isn't policy, like you said, left, center, left. It's how they believe things can get done.
Okay, let me ask you that. The Washington Post, your paper, you didn't write this editorial. You told me just now. It basically says, well, I don't want you to defend what you wrote. It's redundant. That it doesn't add up. It's fiction. All his numbers don't. And I had that argument with somebody the other night here, you know, who's just switched to Hillary, or from Hillary to Bernie, and it was, you know, how do you pay for lifetime health insurance? How do you pay for free tuition at major expensive universities? How do you pay for fatter Social Security benefit checks when you retire without huge tax increase? I mean, huge. Welcome back to Hardball. We're back with our roundtable. Amanda, Jonathan, Colleen. Starting with Colleen. What is Donald Trump's magic? I thought it began with sort of a nationalistic thing about immigration, things like that, and jobs and wars we should have been fighting. It made a little logical sense if you don't like it. But what's it now? Is it magic? Is it the show? Is it the next carnival performance? Why is he able to do what he's doing with all the networks tonight?
Apparently his showmanship appeals to his supporters, and you see that everything that he tries that should not work somehow works.
Like, I'm going to shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue. Exactly.
Somehow that's
a capital crime.
That's not a problem. So it should not work for him to boycott a debate, but you saw the lines. You saw people standing out in the cold waiting to go to Donald Trump's show.
John, are we so jaded? We just want something different. Turn over the pillow. We want something else but what we've been watching.
It could be that, but you had Omarosa on earlier, and I interviewed Omarosa the Saturday after that debate in August, because she's the Trump whisperer, and I asked her, explain this to me, and she said something that I have not forgotten since, and she said, you have to throw out everything you understand about politics when you're thinking about him. He is a reality.
Do you know her very well?
I just met her the first time there, but what she said,
a hell of a surrogate.
Yeah, but what she said there, Chris, was that he is reality television has taken over America. He is the king of reality television. When you have the king of reality television going into presidential politics, you have to look at him and think of him in terms of reality television. All the rules are out the window. If he wants to call somebody and
somebody else, could Howie Mandel do it? Could Howie Mandel do it? There's a lot of guys who've worked in this world of reality.
Well, sure, but Howie Mandel is not running for president. Yeah. Donald Trump is.
And he's going to have the hardest time turning out his voters, even harder than Bernie Sanders, because a lot of these people don't normally vote, and they say they're not voting for anyone else besides Donald Trump. So are they just fans and just want to go and see him because he's a reality television star, or are they actually going to vote?
Okay, we're going to know Monday night all these answers. Crackle of victory or defeat.